My treasured soul, there is a trembling in the spirit realm tonight, a stirring that refuses to stay silent. And the moment you open this message, Archangel Michael, lean closer, because the title you just read is not random. It is a divine alert meant for your house, your atmosphere, your destiny. God says, something was hidden inside your house and time has run out for it to stay buried. These words are not poetic. They are not symbolic. They are a direct heavenly alarm, and Archangel Michael is urging you, almost pleading with you, to pay attention, because the thing that is hidden was never meant to survive this season. There is a spiritual shaking happening around your home. Maybe you felt it in small ways. Unusual dreams, sudden restlessness, shifts in your mood, or a strange sense that something is off even when everything looks normal. But what you didn't know is that heaven has been tracking something quietly lodged in your environment, something God allowed to remain unnoticed until now. And tonight heaven is exposing it. Archangel Michael stands at the threshold of your home in the spirit, sword drawn, ready to remove what has been draining you, distracting you, delaying you, or monitoring you. He has been watching the unseen movements, the emotional heaviness, the unexpected tension, the sudden confusion, the memories you didn't understand. This message isn't random. This is surgical. This is targeted. This is personal. Because what God is revealing is not an object. It is a presence, a residue, a shadow left by something or someone who entered your life. And though it hid quietly, heaven never lost sight of it. My dear one, Archangel Michael says there is an atmosphere in your home that tried blending in, an energy that acted familiar, yet never carried peace. It tried to mimic comfort, yet left you drained. It tried to stay unnoticed, yet heaven noticed it fully. Some of you have felt this for a long time, a room that feels heavier than the others, a corner you avoid without knowing why, a memory attached to an item you no longer trust, or a voice inside whispering, something here needs to change. And now God is saying, it must be exposed. This hidden thing isn't just sitting there, it hath been influencing you. You've been experiencing delayed answers, interrupted clarity, and emotional waves that feel unnatural. Not because you are weak, not because you are unstable, but because something unclean attached itself to your environment, hoping you would never look deep enough to notice. But heaven just tore the veil open. Archangel Michael says this is why you were led to this message today, not yesterday, not months ago. Because the spiritual clock surrounding your home just hit its final minutes. Heaven is acting fast, and you're being positioned for deliverance. Listen close. To the moment the hidden thing is revealed, the atmosphere of your entire house will shift. Your sleep will change. Your peace will return. Your spirit will breathe again. This is not about fear. This is about freedom. God is not exposing this to threaten you, but to protect you. He is revealing this because you are stepping into a new chapter, and heaven refuses to let anything dark follow you into it. Archangel Michael stands with divine urgency and says, open this now before the signs erase. What signs? The subtle nudges, the gentle warning the Holy Spirit taps you, dismissed as coincidence. These signs fade if ignored, and heaven does not want you to miss what could shift your entire spiritual atmosphere. Beloved, something powerful is unfolding even as you listen. You are not here by accident. The timing is surgical. The message is divine. And as you breathe right now, heaven is scanning your home. The truth is coming out. The exposure has begun. A transformation is about to enter your walls like fresh wind. Stay with this. You do not want to miss what is about to unfold next. The next moment carries clarity. The next revelation carries instruction. And the next words carry the release Archangel Michael has been waiting to give you. Before you move on, take a moment, listen to what your spirit is sensing, because this is the hour heaven chose to intervene. Before you scroll, the next revelation carries a twist that will shake you in the best and most liberating way you can imagine. Type "I open my spirit" in the comments if this message is touching something deep inside you. Lesson code 441 is being released into your home. My awakened one, there is a shift happening inside you even as you step deeper into this message. It feels like something in your spirit is leaning forward, listening more carefully than usual. That is because heaven is not speaking to the surface of your mind. Heaven is speaking directly to the part of you that remembers truth even before you hear it in words. And Archangel Michael is still standing guard, watching the atmosphere around your home with fierce precision. God says, "What is hidden can no longer hide," and those words are echoing through the walls of your spirit. You may not realize this yet, but the reason this message feels different, heavier, deeper, is because the exposure taking place is not just happening around you, it is happening within you. Your discernment is waking up. Your spiritual senses are sharpening. The fog that has been lingering over your decisions, your emotions, your relationships, is starting to lift. The cloud that settled over your home without permission is losing its grip. For a long time you knew something was off, but you could never articulate it. It showed up in sudden mood drops, random anxiety, unexpected fatigue, or moments where your peace would vanish for no clear reason. Sometimes you blamed yourself. Sometimes you brushed it off. Sometimes you said, "Maybe I'm overthinking," even though your spirit was screaming, "Look again." But heaven was patient, waiting for the exact moment when your awareness would meet divine revelation. And that moment is now. Archangel Michael has been watching the unseen movement in your home for far longer than you realize. He has seen the invisible patterns, the disturbances in your atmosphere, the emotional battles you felt but could not explain. What you are facing is not simply a physical mystery. It is a spiritual residue left behind by an event, an object, a memory, or even a person who crossed your space with the wrong energy. Sometimes things cling to places long after moments are over, and sometimes spirits settle into quarters where pain once lived. But heaven does not leave its chosen ones unprotected. There is a reason why God is saying, "Open this now before the signs erase." Signs fade when they are ignored. Sensitivity dulls when it is dismissed. Spiritual warnings grow quiet when a person keeps pushing them aside. But you did not push this one away. You listen. And because you listened, the veil is lifting over the very area of your life the enemy hoped you would never examine. Now hear this carefully, because this is the part where your breakthrough begins. Something in your house has acted like a spiritual anchor. It has held certain emotions in place. It has stirred certain memories. It has amplified certain fears. And the reason you have felt cycles repeating is because something was influencing the atmosphere without your knowledge. But the moment heaven reveals a hidden thing, its power becomes dust. The moment light touches what was concealed, darkness loses every advantage. You are not being warned because danger is coming. You are being warned because freedom is arriving. And Archangel Michael has already stepped into the place where the exposure must happen. The sword he carries is not symbolic, it represents separation. It is the cutting away of spiritual residue that does not belong to you. It is the severing of attachments that were never part of your destiny. It is the removal of anything that has been whispering confusion into your atmosphere. Something in your house is connected to an old season, an old wound, an old relationship, an old trauma, an old spiritual weight. You may not even realize how deep the connection runs. But heaven is showing you because the season attached to that thing is finally over. God is not asking you to panic. He is asking you to pay attention. He is not asking you to fear. He is asking you to recognize. The hidden thing is not greater than you. He is not stronger than you. It is not overpowering you. It is simply undisclosed, and anything undisclosed can influence without being confronted. But now the confrontation has begun. The light entering your home right now is not ordinary. There is a cleansing happening in the unseen realm. You may even feel warmth in your hands, tingling in your body, or a shift in your breathing. These are signs that your spirit is stepping into agreement with heaven. The message is unlocking something. The truth is moving into place. The revelation is settling. And you are becoming more spiritually aware with every passing second. Archangel Michael is saying, keep listening. You are closer to exposing this than you think. And that is why you cannot disconnect from this message. Something in your atmosphere is about to reveal itself, not through fear, but through clarity. A memory may resurface. A sudden thought may appear. You may feel nudged to look in a certain direction, open a certain drawer, check a certain room, or examine something you overlooked. Heaven will guide you precisely. Nothing will be random. Nothing will be vague. You are being prepared for a moment of recognition that will bring spiritual relief you have not felt in years. And once this hidden thing loses its place, a fresh wave of peace will fill your home like air after a storm. Even the energy in your walls will feel different. You will sleep differently. Your thoughts will stabilize. Your emotions will quiet. Your spirit will rise. Hold steady, what comes next will shift your understanding completely. Before you move forward, breathe deeply. This next section will reveal the root behind the presence heaven is exposing, and you will finally understand what has been affecting your atmosphere. Type "I welcome the exposure" in the comments if this message is speaking to your inner knowing. Blessing code 229 has just been released. I rising spirit, there is a deeper trembling unfolding around you now. As you step into this next revelation, you may feel the atmosphere shifting again, almost as if something is drawing closer to the surface of your awareness. That is because the hidden presence inside your home is beginning to loosen. The veil is thinning. The exposure is preparing to occur. And Archangel Michael is not merely standing by, he is actively pressing the darkness out of its hiding place. God is saying, you are approaching the moment of unveiling. These words carry weight because heaven does not speak in riddles when the hour of revelation has arrived. What has been influencing your emotions, your dreams, your clarity, has become restless under the light that is entering your home. It can no longer remain disguised. You have stepped into a level of spiritual awareness that forces the unseen to reveal its identity. For a long time, something in your house has echoed a past season you outgrew. It may be connected to a relationship that once drained your spirit, an experience that left a wound, or a memory you thought you moved on from. But what most people never realize is that the atmosphere of a home can absorb energies the same way a body absorbs bruises. A room can hold the imprint of grief. A hallway can carry the residue of arguments. An object can retain the emotional fingerprints of a person who once held it. This is not superstition. This is spiritual law. What carries intention also carries influence. What carries attachment also carries access. And heaven has watched something inside your home quietly tapping into a doorway you never knew was open. It did not come to destroy you, but it came to drain you slowly, subtly, quietly, in ways that made you blame yourself for the shifts you felt. The confusion, the mood drops, the spiritual exhaustion, these were not signs of weakness. They were signs of an uninvited energy living in a space that belongs to your peace. Archangel Michael has been waiting for the exact moment when your spirit would be ready to confront this truth. He never forces revelation, he escorts it. He never overwhelms you, he prepares you. And right now, he is preparing the final unveiling. His wings are spread around your home like a barrier of light. His sword is dividing truth from illusion. His presence is pushing back every shadow that has overstayed its welcome. Hear this deeply. What is hidden is not greater than you. It never was. Its power came from your unawareness, not from its strength. But now you see. Now you feel. Now you perceive. And awareness breaks influence. God is whispering, it must be exposed, because the new season I am bringing you into cannot begin with old residue attached to your life. Everything about your spirit is elevating. You are entering a phase where your discernment, your intuition, your clarity, your direction will all sharpen to levels you have never known. But that level of clarity cannot coexist with what has been hiding in your environment. This exposure is not punishment, it is preparation. It is cleansing. It is divine alignment. There is something you will notice soon, a sudden memory, a subtle shift, a thought that flashes across your mind like a spark. Heaven will guide your attention to the exact place, the exact item, the exact imprint that hath been carrying this energy. You will not need to search blindly. You will not need to guess. The revelation will come with precision. When heaven exposes something, it exposes it completely. And when that moment comes, you will feel the atmosphere inside your home exhale. Your chest will feel lighter. Your thoughts will clear. Your spirit will rise. Because exposure is liberation. Revelation is cleansing. Truth is deliverance. Before this unveiling happens, Archangel Michael is asking you to stay spiritually alert. Pay attention to the subtle signs, the inner nudges, the shifts in the air around you. Nothing will be random. Nothing will feel accidental. You are being guided step by step into the moment where everything hidden loses its authority. And listen carefully. This is important. Right before exposure happens, there is always a moment where the atmosphere feels slightly unsettled. You may feel more sensitive, more aware, more alert. That is not fear. That is discernment awakening. Heaven is preparing you to receive what it is about to reveal. Do not misinterpret this spiritual sensitivity as anxiety. It is confirmation. It is alignment. It is your inner spirit recognizing the nearness of truth. What comes next is bigger than a simple discovery. It is a shift in your spiritual landscape. It is the repositioning of your destiny. It is the restoration of your peace. And when this unveiling completes, the blessings that were delayed will begin flowing again. You have no idea how many of your breakthroughs were waiting for this very moment. But heaven knew. And heaven waited. And now heaven is ready. Stay with this message. You are standing at the edge of something profound. The next revelation will show you why the presence was there, how it entered, and what its exposure will release into your life. This is not the moment to pull away. The breakthrough is nearing its peak. Type "I stand in the light" in the comments if your spirit is awakening through this message. Blessing code 580 is now activated. Before we move forward, take a moment to like, share, comment, and subscribe, because someone else may desperately need this revelation but has no idea heaven is calling them. Let this message reach the one still searching in the dark. There is a holy weight resting on this word, and if your spirit is stirring right now, it means you are part of a divine assignment. When you support this message, you are not assisting a channel. You are igniting a mission that rescues souls who are still blinded by what hides in their homes and hearts. God says that every seed sown into light becomes a torch in someone else's darkness, and this is your moment to carry that flame. I say to you now, as one speaking what heaven is prompting, when you stand with this work, you are helping heaven expose what the enemy hoped would stay concealed. Use Super Thanks membership, where the PayPal link in the description is your altar of obedience. As you sow, may rivers of revelation and protection flow back into your own household. Heaven marks the giver, and heaven rewards the obedient. Step into this assignment boldly. My vigilant soul, as you move deeper into this unfolding revelation, something inside you may already feel more awake than it has in a long time. There is a sharpening happening, a spiritual alertness rising, because the atmosphere around your home is beginning to shift under the weight of heaven's scrutiny. Archangel Michael has not stepped back, he has stepped closer. His presence is now moving through the unseen corners of your environment, stirring what has been lying silent for far too long. The exposure is nearing its moment of breakthrough, and your spirit can feel the vibration of the truth. God is saying, the hidden thing is losing its ground. And those words are not poetic, they are prophetic. When heaven begins pulling at the threads of something concealed, it starts to unravel faster than you expect. You may have noticed tiny shifts already, sudden clarity, unexpected bursts of energy, memory surfacing that you had forgotten, or moments where something feels misplaced or unsettled. These are not coincidences. These are spiritual indicators that the unseen presence no longer has room to stay unnoticed. This hidden influence has been connected to a doorway, an invisible entry point that opened during a moment of vulnerability in your past. It may have entered through grief, through heartbreak, through betrayal, through emotional chaos, or even through an object you kept without realizing the energy it carried. Not everything that enters a home enters clean. Not every memory leaves without leaving a mark. Not every item is spiritually neutral. And heaven has watched you navigating through atmospheres that were shaped by something you did not invite but unknowingly allowed. Archangel Michael is revealing that this presence has been feeding on moments of weakness, amplifying emotions that did not originate from you. This is why sometimes your sadness felt deeper than the situation deserved. This is why certain days felt heavier for no reason. This is why your thoughts occasionally drifted into places that did not match your true spirit. You were not imagining it. You were sensing the imprint of something that did not belong to your energy field. But hear this closely. Heaven has no intention of letting you live under that influence any longer. The time for exposure has come because the time for elevation has arrived. You cannot rise into the next phase of your destiny with any lingering shadows attached to your environment. God is cleansing your home the way He cleanses a path before He leads His chosen ones through it. Nothing unclean can travel with you into this next season. Nothing hidden can remain hidden. Nothing suppressed can remain unaddressed. You must understand something profound. Exposure is mercy. When God reveals what was concealed, it is not to frighten you, it is to free you. When Archangel Michael uncovers spiritual residue, he does so to remove it permanently. When heaven draws your attention to something, it is because heaven intends to heal the place where the influence once lived. There is a reason your awareness is heightening. You may feel more sensitive in certain rooms. You may feel drawn to rearrange, to declutter, to touch specific objects, to revisit areas you have ignored for months. You may feel a sudden urge to clean or reorganize. These impulses are not random. They are spiritual instincts being activated. Heaven often guides through intuition long before it guides through instruction. Something inside you is responding to the call of cleansing before your mind even fully understands why. And listen, this is crucial. The presence hiding in your home is already weakening. It senses the pressure of Archangel Michael's authority. It feels the intensity of divine light entering your environment. It recognizes that its time is up, That is why your emotions may feel lighter one moment and stirred the next. That is why your mind is seeing things more clearly than before. The presence is losing its final grip, and what you are experiencing is the shift of spiritual territory being reclaimed. God is saying, do not fear what is being exposed. Fear only what remains hidden. But nothing will remain hidden for long. Not with heaven watching. Not with Michael standing guard. Not with your spirit awakening. Soon, the revelation will unfold in a way that will surprise you, not with fear, but with recognition. You will suddenly understand why certain seasons played out the way they did, why certain relationships drained you, why certain thoughts returned repeatedly, why certain dreams felt unusually vivid. The hidden influence has touched more areas than you realized, but the moment it is exposed, all of its threads will loosen at once. Imagine a weight being lifted from your house. Imagine your nights becoming peaceful again. Imagine walking through your home and feeling clarity instead of confusion, calm instead of heaviness, alignment instead of chaos. That is the future heaven is delivering to you. Archangel Michael is saying, hold steady. Do not turn away. You are moments away from the revelation you have been unknowingly waiting for. And you can sense it, can't you? Something in your spirit knows that the next shift will answer questions you have carried for years. Something in you knows this is not just another message. It is a divine appointment. Stay with what is unfolding. The next moment holds the reason this presence was allowed to linger. And when you understand the reason, everything in your life will make sense on a level deeper than you ever expected. Before you move, pause for breath, because the next section reveals the spiritual origin behind the presence, and why heaven chose this moment to reveal it. Type "I walk in truth" in the comments if this message is piercing through to your spirit. Blessing code 317 is now released. My discerning heart, as you enter this next wave of revelation, something within you may feel as though a curtain is lifting inside your own mind. Thoughts that were once scattered are beginning to align. Feelings that were once confusing are beginning to make sense. This is what happens when truth starts knocking at the door of your spirit. Archangel Michael has not stopped moving. In fact, his presence is now sweeping across the very atmosphere of your home, identifying every place where shadows once hid. He is not revealing to frighten you. He is revealing to free you completely. God is saying, the root must be exposed, and these words echo with the force of divine intention. You have already sensed the trembling in your environment. You have already felt the small shifts in your instincts. You have already noticed memories surfacing at unusual moments, as if heaven itself is pulling threads that were buried deep. That is not random. That is not imagination. That is revelation preparing you for the truth behind what entered your home. There is always an origin. There is always an entry point. There is always a reason something was able to stay hidden for so long. And now heaven is bringing that reason into the light. This presence did not choose your home by accident. It was drawn to a moment where your spirit was vulnerable, tender, or distracted. This could have been a season of grief, confusion, heartbreak, loneliness, or transition. When a person goes through emotional disruption, spiritual boundaries sometimes blur without them realizing it. It does not mean you were weak. It means you were human. But heaven never forgets what tries to attach itself to you in those moments. This hidden presence may have entered through an object that carries emotional weight, a gift from someone whose energy was not aligned with your spirit, a belonging tied to painful memories, or something that passed through the hands of a person who carried spiritual heaviness. It may have entered through words spoken over you, through emotional trauma, or through a moment when your heart was open but unprotected. You have carried more pain than you let people know. You have stored more memories than you intentionally choose to recall. But your home absorbed some of that energy, and heaven has been waiting for the right moment to remove it from your space. Archangel Michael has been speaking through subtle signals for a while now. You may have noticed rooms where you suddenly felt drained or uneasy. You may have sensed the need to open a window even when the air didn't feel heavy. You may have felt drawn to certain spiritual practices, prayer, cleansing, silence, or stillness, without knowing why. These impulses came from heaven guiding you toward the exposure that is now unfolding. God is not just revealing the presence, He is revealing its purpose. Some presence is attached to delay destinies, some attached to disrupt clarity, some attached to amplify emotional pain, some attached to replay old seasons even when you have moved on. You have lived through cycles that made no logical sense. Cycles where you worked hard, healed deeply, prayed sincerely, yet something still felt unfinished. Something still felt stuck. Something still felt unsettled. That was not failure. That was not spiritual imbalance. That was interference. And heaven is removing that interference once and for all. You need to understand how heaven operates. Exposure never comes without intention. Revelation never arrives without purpose. Healing never begins without divine timing. This is your timing. This is your moment. This is your turning point. The hidden presence stayed in your environment because it blended into your emotional history. It attached itself to the very parts of you that were still healing. But heaven never allowed it to harm you beyond what could be undone. Every moment of confusion can be reversed. Every delay can be restored. Every heaviness can be lifted. Nothing that this presence caused will remain after the exposure completes. Archangel Michael is now pressing heavily against the root. His sword is positioned not just to identify the presence, but to sever it from your life entirely. You may feel a strange warmth, a sudden chill, a shift in the atmosphere, or a stirring in your spirit as you read this. These reactions are signs that the separation has already begun. The presence is being pushed into the open, unable to maintain its disguise. Your spirit is awakening to something you were always meant to see. You were never supposed to carry this unknown weight forever. You were never supposed to live under the influence of something you did not choose. Heaven has marked this as your hour of release. The root is being pulled up. The origin is being exposed. The hidden presence is being stripped of every place it once claimed. And now, you must prepare for what heaven will show you next. Because the next revelation will not only expose the root, it will expose the reason you were targeted. It will show you why this presence was connected to you in the first place. It will reveal the spiritual significance of your calling, your gifts, your destiny. Because nothing attaches to a life without a purpose. And the fact that something tried to linger in your environment only confirms that heaven has marked you for something far greater than you realize. Hold steady. What comes next is not just revelation, it is empowerment. You are about to understand your own spiritual authority on a level that will leave you transformed. Before you shift forward, breathe deeply and let your spirit remain open, because the next section pulls the veil back fully and reveals the origin behind the presence with unmistakable clarity. Type "I receive the root revelation" in the comments if your spirit feels this piercing through layers of your truth. Blessing code 904 is now unlocked. My courageous spirit, as you step into this next unveiling, you may feel a deeper stirring inside your chest, something like anticipation mixed with recognition. That sensation is not anxiety, it is your spirit preparing itself for truth. You are entering the phase where heaven no longer speaks in hints or impressions. What was once subtle is about to become unmistakably clear. Archangel Michael is now positioned closer than he has been at any point in this journey. His presence is no longer just guarding your home. It is moving with deliberate intention, sweeping through the unseen realms and pressing the hidden presence into the light. God is saying, now you will understand why the presence attached itself, and these words come with extraordinary force. They signal the point where revelation stops being mysterious and becomes precise. Everything you have felt, every strange disturbance, every emotional wave, every unexplained heaviness, had been preparing you for this moment. Heaven hath been orchestrating this exposure like a divine puzzle, piece by piece, until the entire image is ready to reveal itself. And now, that image stands before you. The truth is this: the hidden presence inside your home was drawn not to your weakness, but to your strength. It did not attach to you because you were fragile. It attached to you because you carry spiritual authority, depth, and sensitivity. The enemy never fights what has no power. Darkness never lingers where there is no destiny. And interference never chooses a soul unless that soul carries a light capable of changing environments. Hear this deeply. The influence that entered your home identified something inside you that perhaps you yourself underestimated. It saw your capacity to shift atmospheres through your emotions, your voice, your intuition, your presence. It recognized that your home was not just a place of rest, but a place of spiritual impact. Some people live in houses. You live in a spiritual territory. That is why the presence entered. It was drawn to the territory your spirit commands. Archangel Michael reveals that the presence was not sent randomly. It aligned itself with a past wound, because wounds create openings when they are not fully healed. This wound may have come from betrayal, abandonment, rejection, loss, or deep emotional disappointment. Something that struck you deeply enough that your spirit felt temporarily exposed. In that moment, an invisible crack formed, and spiritual residue found its way in. Not because you failed, not because you were unprotected, but because healing is a process, and the enemy always seeks the moments between your pain and your restoration. Yet even as it entered, it could never take authority. Heaven never gave it permission to control you. It could only influence subtly, whispering thoughts, amplifying emotions, creating small imbalances in your atmosphere, lingering in the shadows you did not yet see. It tried to attach to the parts of you that were still tender. It tried to feed off the emotions that felt unresolved. It tried to hold on to the spaces where memories carried weight. But what it did not expect was that Archangel Michael would return to your home with the sword of divine judgment. What it did not expect was that heaven would declare this moment as your moment of exposure. What it did not expect was that you would awaken in time to cast it out completely. This is why your spirit feels more alert than usual. This is why your dreams may have intensified. This is why you may have felt sudden clarity in areas that were once confusing. This is why memories have resurfaced unexpectedly. The presence is losing its grip because the revelation has already begun. It cannot hide in a home where the light of awareness is activated. It cannot stay where Archangel Michael stands in full authority. It cannot operate in a space where heaven is releasing truth like a flood. And now God is showing you the deeper reason for its attachment. You are entering a season where your spiritual influence will expand. Your intuition will sharpen. Your discernment will heighten. Your clarity will increase. Your peace will deepen. The enemy saw this season approaching long before you understood it. It tried to plant something early, hoping it would either delay your elevation or dilute your sensitivity. But heaven has stepped in before any damage could solidify. You are being cleansed before your next assignment begins. You are being freed before your next blessing arrives. You are being restored before the next chapter unfolds. There is something powerful about your spirit that you have not fully embraced yet. And this exposure is not only revealing the presence, it is revealing who you are becoming. You are stepping into spiritual maturity. You are stepping into divine authority. You are stepping into a version of yourself that darkness cannot withstand. That is why this moment is happening now. Archangel Michael is saying, you are stronger than what tried to attach to you. And those words are heavenly truth. You are more resilient, more radiant, more spiritually potent than you realize. And the presence knew that. That is why it hid rather than confronted. Darkness always hides from those who carry light. Very soon, you will feel a shift so strong, so tangible, it will confirm everything heaven has spoken. A sudden wave of peace will fill your home. A lightness will settle in the air. A clarity will unfold in your spirit. This is the moment heaven has been preparing you for. Stay alert. Stay open. Stay present. The next revelation will expose the impact this presence has had on your path, and how heaven is about to reverse every single effect. Type "I claim my spiritual authority" in the comments if this truth is awakening your inner power. Blessing code 655 is now released. My steadfast soul, as you enter this phase of the revelation, there is a quiet power rising inside you. A strength that does not shout, but hums beneath your ribs like a steady current. This is the kind of strength that appears only when truth draws near. And truth is indeed drawing near, so close now that the air around you can almost feel different. Archangel Michael is no longer standing at a distance. He is walking through the unseen corridors of your home with purpose, forcing every lingering shadow to tremble under the light of divine exposure. God is saying, now you will see the impact, and these words mark a pivotal moment in your journey. You have understood the presence. You have understood the entry point. You have understood the reason it attached. But now heaven will reveal something deeper, how this hidden presence subtly shaped your emotions, your decisions, your atmosphere, and even your spiritual progress. This revelation will not condemn you. It will empower you, because you cannot reclaim territory until you understand what was lost within it. For months, perhaps even years, you carried sensations you could not explain. Some days you woke up with heaviness that did not match your circumstances. Some nights your dreams felt unusually vivid, as if something was trying to speak through them. There were moments where your energy dropped suddenly, or your motivation dissolved, or your clarity felt foggy, even when life itself appeared calm. You may have said, "I don't know why I feel this way," and blamed it on exhaustion, stress, or overthinking. But heaven saw something deeper. Heaven saw an influence whispering into your emotional field, not controlling you, but nudging you. This hidden presence made itself comfortable in subtle places. It hovered around memories that still carried emotional residue. It lingered near wounds that hadn't fully healed. It pressed on the places where loneliness once lived, where heartbreak once wounded you, where disappointment once shaped your perspective. It did not create those emotions, but it amplified them. It nudged them. It magnified the echo of moments you were trying to outgrow. This is why sometimes your sadness felt too strong, your overthinking felt too heavy, your discouragement felt too sudden. It was not weakness. It was interference. Archangel Michael wants you to know that your sensitivity is not a flaw. It is your gift. Your emotional depth is not vulnerability. It is spiritual intelligence. But because you feel deeply, spiritual influences often feel you deeply too. This presence was drawn to your emotional openness, hoping to blend itself into your natural sensitivity. It thought it could hide inside the very qualities that make you powerful. But heaven has declared that your sensitivity will no longer be a doorway for interference. It will become a weapon of discernment. The presence also tried to influence your decision-making, not by controlling your choices, but by fogging your clarity. Pay attention here. There were times when you wanted to move forward, yet something inside you hesitated with no clear reason. Or you wanted to end a connection, but felt pulled back into confusion. Where you had a strong idea, but suddenly felt doubt pressing on you. These waves of uncertainty were not born from your spirit. They were born from the energetic interference sitting in your environment. Once this presence is removed, your clarity will return with such force that decisions you once struggled with will suddenly feel simple and obvious. Another impact was the disruption of your peace. Peace is not the absence of noise, it is the presence of spiritual alignment. And the presence hiding in your home could not coexist with true peace. That is why your energy sometimes felt divided within your own home. One room may have felt calm while another felt draining. One corner felt comfortable while another felt strangely unsettling. You may not have paid attention to these sensations, but your spirit did. Your inner being had been whispering, "Something here is off," long before your mind fully understood it. But the greatest impact, the one heaven is now undoing, was the way this presence tried to slow your spiritual elevation. Every time you prayed, every time you tried to grow, every time you felt yourself rising into a higher version of yourself, there was resistance. It did not stop you, but it tried to slow you. It tried to dim your intuition. It tried to dilute your hope. It tried to silence the part of you that sees beyond the natural. But none of its attempts succeeded long term. You kept rising. You kept awakening. You kept listening to heaven's voice. And because you kept rising, the presence began losing the power to hide. Archangel Michael says the exposure is reaching its final stage. Everything the presence influenced is about to be reversed. The heaviness will lift. The fog will evaporate. The emotional imbalance will recalibrate. The uncertainty will unravel. A spiritual delay will break. And when the removal completes, you will step into a level of clarity, strength, and peace that will shock you with its intensity. This is not just cleansing. This is restoration. You are being prepared for a spiritual atmosphere where nothing hidden can operate. A home where your thoughts are your own, unfiltered and untouched. A space where your emotions reflect truth, not interference. A territory where your spirit rises without obstruction. You are entering a season where your home will become a sanctuary again, a place of clarity, power, and divine alignment. Stay present, because the next revelation will show you exactly how heaven is removing every effect and restoring what was lost. And when you see what is coming, you will understand why the enemy fought to hide this for so long. Type "I claim my restoration" in the comments if this message is piercing deeply into your awareness. Lesson code 744 is now activated. I Ascending Soul. As you step into this pivotal moment, the atmosphere around your spirit is beginning to feel charged in a different way. It is no longer the heaviness of something hidden, nor the confusion of something unrecognized. It is the electricity of a breakthrough preparing to manifest. Your inner being feels this shift even before your mind comprehends it. That is because Archangel Michael is now concluding the work he began the moment you opened this message. His wings are stretched over your home with full authority, and his sword is separating every lingering thread of spiritual residue that once tried to hold itself together. God is saying, now comes the reversal, and you must understand the power of that statement. Reversal is not just healing. It is not just cleansing. It is not simply releasing the hidden presence from your environment. Reversal means everything the presence influenced, disrupted, delayed, weakened, or interfered with is about to be undone. Every misalignment is being corrected. Every emotional disturbance is being calmed. Every spiritual delay is being broken. Heaven is not just exposing what was hidden. Heaven is restoring what was affected. The presence inside your home had a subtle way of influencing your internal world. It created cycles where your motivation would rise and then suddenly drop. It sparked unnecessary arguments, not because you or others wanted conflict, but because the atmosphere around you carried tension that did not belong to you. It made you second-guess decisions that were correct. It created emotional fatigue over situations that should not have drained you. It attempted to blur your spiritual clarity at the exact moments when heaven was trying to elevate you. But what the presence underestimated was your resilience. Every emotional dip you experienced did not weaken you. It strengthened your spiritual sensitivity. Every moment of confusion trained you to recognize counterfeit energy. Every wave of heaviness sharpened your discernment. Every delay prepared you to appreciate divine timing with deeper gratitude. You did not break. You awakened. You did not collapse. You evolved. You did not lose your way. You learned how to see in the dark. And now that the hidden thing has been exposed, the interference it once created has no legal ground to operate in your environment. Archangel Michael is not negotiating with it. He is dismantling it. He is tearing down every spiritual imprint it tried to leave. He is cleansing the atmosphere room by room, memory by memory, vibration by vibration. When heaven cleanses, nothing remains half done. Heaven cleanses until peace becomes permanent. This reversal will begin to show itself in ways that will surprise you. You will wake up with clarity that feels brand new. Your mind will feel sharper, calmer, steadier. Thoughts that once spiraled will suddenly align. Emotions that once wavered will stabilize. Ideas that once felt impossible will suddenly feel achievable. There will be moments where you will pause and think, why do I feel different today? It is because the presence hath been uprooted. It is because your atmosphere hath been restored. It is because peace is becoming your home's new foundation. Even relationships inside your home or connected to your home will shift. Some connections that once carried tension may feel lighter. Conversations that once felt emotionally draining may suddenly flow with ease. Places in your home that once felt uncomfortable will begin to feel warm again, almost as if someone opened a window and fresh air rushed in. These are not emotional changes. These are spiritual recalibrations. God is saying that peace will not just return, it will multiply. Clarity will not just come, it will anchor. Hope will not just rise, it will grow roots. Your environment will not just be cleansed, it will be fortified. Because once heaven cleanses a space, that space becomes difficult for darkness to re-enter. Once Archangel Michael seals a home, that home becomes a guarded sanctuary. Once divine light fills a territory, shadows cannot reclaim it. This is why your spirit feels stronger now. This is why you feel more connected to this message than you expected. This is why something inside you keeps saying, keep listening. The deeper truth is this: the presence sensed your next spiritual elevation before you did. It tried to block the path you were destined to walk. It tried to distract you from realizing your own spiritual authority. It tried to dim the clarity that heaven has been preparing for you. But now that it is exposed, everything it attempted is being reversed with divine precision. Your gifts will sharpen. Your intuition will heighten. Your prayer life will strengthen. Your spiritual perception will expand. Your emotional world will balance. Your environment will stabilize. You are becoming who heaven always intended you to be: a spiritual force, a carrier of light, a voice with authority, a presence that shifts atmospheres, not one pushed around by them. And before you step into the next revelation, which will reveal what heaven is placing in your home to replace what was removed, you must hold on to this truth. The reversal is already happening. The transformation is underway. The cleansing is nearly complete. Stay with this message, because what comes next will reveal the new spiritual atmosphere God is establishing in your home. You will not want to miss the shift that is about to unfold. Type "I receive my reversal" in the comments if this message is resonating deeply within your spirit. Blessing code 822 is now active. Before we continue, take a moment to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Someone else's breakthrough may depend on hearing this message at the right time, and you might be the reason it reaches them. Spread the revelation. Spread the light. There is a holy momentum stirring in this word, and if you feel it, then you know heaven is aligning you with a mission far greater than this moment. When you support this work, you are not fueling a platform. You are fueling deliverance for countless souls who are still battling hidden influences in their homes with no clarity to guide them. God says that every seed placed into His work becomes like oil poured upon a divine assignment, helping the message travel where darkness has been sitting unchallenged. I now speak with the voice heaven gives me. When you give through Super Thanks membership, with a PayPal link in the description, you shift from being a listener to being a carrier of light. Every giver receives a supernatural covering, and heaven releases protection, clarity, and restoration back into their own home. This is not donation. This is obedience, and obedience activates reward. Step boldly into your calling as a supporter of God's revelation. My illuminated soul, you are stepping into a moment of revelation where the air itself feels different. Something in your spirit knows that a turning point is unfolding, a shift so profound that even the unseen realm is responding to it. This is no longer about exposure or interference. This is about the transformation heaven is establishing inside your home right now. Archangel Michael is not merely removing what was hidden. He is preparing the space for what heaven has chosen to replace it with. And this replacement carries weight. It carries purpose. It carries divine intention. God is saying, "I do not remove without restoring." And these words carry the heartbeat of heaven's character. Whenever God takes something out, He fills the void with something greater. Whenever He cleanses, He sanctifies. Whenever He exposes, He elevates. Your home is not just being emptied, it is being re-established as a dwelling of peace, clarity, strength, and spiritual protection. Heaven never leaves a space unfinished. The cleansing you have experienced is only the beginning of a much deeper transformation. You may already feel the shift beginning, even in subtle ways. Rooms that once felt heavy may feel strangely lighter. Corners you once avoided may now feel calm. Thoughts that were once foggy may now feel focused. Your spirit may feel the gentle rising of peace, the return of inner steadiness, the quiet settling of energy that was once disturbed. You might even notice a change in the sounds of your home, the stillness in the air, or the way you breathe when you walk through certain areas. These are signs of a spiritual reordering. Archangel Michael is not simply cleansing your home. He is sealing it. He is assigning protection to the atmosphere. He is marking your home as territory that no interference can re-enter. His presence is establishing boundaries that cannot be crossed by darkness, confusion, or negativity. And heaven is depositing something into your space, something that will reshape the way your home feels, functions, and spiritually resonates. This replacement is not physical, though it may eventually influence the physical realm. This replacement is spiritual. It is the presence of divine peace, the kind of peace that does not simply soothe but transforms. It is not a feeling, it is a presence. It is not an emotion, it is a heavenly imprint. This peace will linger in every room, shift the atmosphere around your thoughts, settle your spirit when chaos tries to rise, and silence the echoes of old wounds that once called out from the corners. God is placing a new spiritual covering over your home, one that some people never experience in their lifetime. A covering where clarity flows effortlessly. A covering where heaviness dissolves before it touches you. A covering where your spirit rests without battle. A covering where confusion has no voice. A covering where every step inside your own home strengthens you instead of draining you. This is the reversal heaven promised. But it is also the rebuilding. Your home is becoming a sanctuary. Your atmosphere is becoming a shield. Your space is becoming a place of revelation, not regression. A place of restoration, not agitation. A place of spiritual grounding, not spiritual scattering. And you will begin noticing new patterns, patterns that reflect the cleansing that has taken place. You will feel sudden inspiration while sitting in rooms that once drained you. You will sense clarity flowing where confusion once sat. You will find yourself breathing easier, thinking clearer, resting deeper. You will feel drawn to moments of silence that feel holy. You will feel a pull toward prayer or reflection without effort, almost as though heaven is whispering softly into the atmosphere. Archangel Michael is saying, "Your home is becoming light," and these words hold divine truth. The light entering your home is not physical light. It is spiritual illumination. Darkness cannot survive where illumination resides. Confusion cannot operate where clarity is rooted. Emotional instability cannot linger where peace has taken authority. This transformation is not temporary. It is permanent. Heaven has marked your home. This means old cycles will not return. Old heaviness will not resurface. Old emotional patterns will not reclaim ground. Old interference will not re-enter. The cleansing has sealed the doors behind you. What God is establishing is a foundation you will build upon for years to come. You will pray differently in this space. You will sleep differently in this space. You will think differently in this space. You will grow spiritually faster in this space because the atmosphere will no longer work against you. It will work for you. The presence that once strained you is gone. The heaviness it carried is gone. The interference it created is gone. In its place, heaven has planted peace, protection, and spiritual clarity. And these will not fade. You are stepping into a new chapter, one where the home you walk through every day becomes a sanctuary that nurtures your calling rather than suppressing it. Heaven has not only cleansed your space, heaven has claimed your space. Stay here with me, because the next revelation will show you the personal transformation you will experience now that your environment has been spiritually restored. And that transformation will be even more powerful than what has already happened. Type "I welcome the NEW covering" in the comments if your spirit feels this truth settling deep inside you. Blessing code 511 is released. My restored soul, as you step into this next revelation, something within you is shifting with unmistakable clarity. It feels like an inner alignment, a settling, a stillness, as if the atmosphere around you has finally stopped fighting you and has started breathing with you instead. A change you feel is not imagined. It is the result of heaven completing a deep spiritual cleansing inside your home. But now, the focus is turning inward, toward you, your spirit, and the transformation that is unfolding within your own being. God is saying, your environment has changed, and now you will change with it. These words are not simple encouragement, they are prophecy. When heaven cleanses a space, the soul dwelling inside that space undergoes its own renewal. You cannot live in a transformed atmosphere and remain the same. The residue that once influenced your emotions is gone. The shadows that once nudged your thoughts have been dismissed. The heaviness that once sat on your chest has been lifted. And now, your spirit is rising without interference. Archangel Michael is no longer fighting against something in your environment. He is now standing behind you, supporting the expansion taking place inside you. His presence is strengthening your clarity, sharpening your discernment, and anchoring your spirit into a deeper realm of truth. This is the part of your awakening that many people never reach. They cleanse their surroundings, but they do not recognize the inner transformation that follows. But you are not one of those people. You have stepped into a new frequency, a new spiritual authority, a new level of internal alignment. You may notice subtle changes in your thoughts. Where confusion once swirled, clarity now arrives quickly. Where doubt once lingered, confidence now rises. Where emotional turbulence once stirred, calm now settles effortlessly. This is not random improvement. This is spiritual recalibration. Heaven has shifted the energy around you, and your spirit is adjusting to the vibration of peace, truth, and stability. Your intuition is waking up in ways you have not experienced before. You may start to sense things before they happen, feel spiritual shifts before anyone speaks them, or hear quiet inner guidance more clearly than ever. This is not imagination. It is spiritual intelligence expanding now that interference is gone. Your spirit has room to breathe, to feel, to hear, and to perceive without distortion. Even your emotions will begin to reorganize. Feelings you once struggled to understand will now feel easy to interpret. Emotional waves that once felt strong will pass more gently. Old triggers may lose their power altogether. This is because the emotional patterns that were amplified by the hidden presence are no longer being fed. Your emotions are returning to their true volume. You are finally hearing yourself rather than hearing interference. Spiritually, you will grow at a pace you have never experienced. Insights will come quickly. Breakthroughs will arrive without the resistance that once blocked them. You will feel drawn to deeper levels of reflection, prayer, or introspection. You may feel prompted to let go of old habits, thought patterns, or relationships that no longer align with who you are becoming. Do not resist those impulses. They are signs that your spirit is stepping into its rightful authority. God is saying that this transformation will not be temporary. It will anchor into your identity. Your core self is evolving. Your spiritual posture is changing. You are becoming someone who walks in light effortlessly, someone who discerns truth immediately, someone who feels heaven's guidance naturally. And the more you step into this version of yourself, the more your life will begin to reflect the change. You may notice that certain people feel different to you now. Some relationships will feel peaceful, while others may reveal tension you never noticed before. That is because your spirit is no longer tolerating energies that drain you. You may feel a sudden urge to organize certain areas of your home, shift routines, renew priorities, or pursue ideas that once felt distant. These impulses are signs that your destiny is reclaiming lost ground. Archangel Michael is saying, you are entering spiritual adulthood. This does not mean perfection. It means awareness. It means strength. It means authority. It means recognizing energy before it affects you, sensing interference before it attaches, and carrying peace so deeply that nothing can unsettle you the way it once did. This season of your life will be defined by clarity. You will make decisions with confidence. You will set boundaries without guilt. You will express your truth without fear. You will walk into rooms knowing who you are, rather than shrinking to accommodate others. This is the transformation that comes after spiritual cleansing, the rebirth of identity. Your past does not have permission to shape your atmosphere anymore. Your wounds no longer have access to shape your mood. Your fears no longer have room to speak louder than your spirit. Everything inside you is being rearranged according to divine order. And soon, you will see the effects not only inwardly, but outwardly. Opportunities that were delayed will become accessible. Doors that were shut will begin opening. Ideas that were stuck will start flowing. Even your relationships and finances may experience sudden shifts because your internal world is no longer tangled with spiritual interference. The transformation within you is real, is deep, is ongoing, and it is sacred. Stay with this journey, because the next revelation will show you the final stage of this divine process. The blessing heaven is preparing to release now that the cleansing and restoration are complete. This will not just change your atmosphere or your spirit, it will change your life. Type "I embrace my transformation" in the comments if your spirit is aligning with this truth. Blessing code 933 is now released. My rising vessel of light, you are stepping into the most delicate and powerful phase of this divine journey, and your spirit can already feel the shift. It feels like something inside you has expanded, as if a deeper awareness has opened within your chest, creating space for truth, clarity, and inner authority. This is not a small shift. It is the settling of a new identity, the stabilization of a new spiritual frequency, and the confirmation that everything heaven has been doing in your home and within your spirit has been leading toward a very specific blessing. Archangel Michael stands beside you now, not with urgency, but with reverence. His wings do not shield you from danger. They honor the transformation you have embraced. Heaven moves differently when a soul steps fully into alignment, and you have reached that sacred threshold. God is saying, "What I remove, I replace. What I expose, I elevate. What I cleanse, I crown." These words are not symbolic. They are the blueprint for the blessing now forming in the unseen realm. You have moved through revelation, cleansing, exposure, reversal, and internal transformation. Now heaven turns its attention toward what is about to be added to your life, something that could not manifest until the hidden presence was removed and the spiritual atmosphere was restored. This blessing is not random. It is strategic. It is tailored. It is time-sensitive. It is your inheritance for enduring a spiritual battle you did not even realize you were fighting. As your home shifted, your spirit shifted. As your spirit shifted, your path began to shift. And it is impossible for everything around you to elevate without heaven placing something new on the road ahead. You may have already sensed the stirring of this coming blessing in subtle ways. Perhaps you felt sudden anticipation without knowing why. Perhaps you felt a random spark of hope, a quiet excitement, or a soft whisper saying that something good was approaching. These were not emotional waves. They were spiritual signals. Your inner spirit always feels a blessing before your mind understands it. Archangel Michael is revealing that heaven has been holding something and waiting for you, something that could not be released while the hidden presence was influencing your atmosphere. Blessings require alignment. They require clarity. They require spiritual stillness. If heaven had given you this blessing earlier, it may have been tangled, delayed, or distorted by the interference that once lived in your home. But now, your environment is clean, your spirit is clear, and your internal world is aligned. You are finally ready to receive without obstruction. This blessing will affect multiple areas of your life. God does not send partial breakthroughs. He sends waves. This blessing may touch your finances, your relationships, your clarity, your opportunities, your health, your creativity, or even your long-awaited desires. But the deepest part of this blessing is not external. It is the restoration of spiritual flow. You are about to enter weeks, even months, where everything that felt stuck begins to move, where closed doors begin to open, where delayed answers begin to unfold, where your intuition begins guiding you toward paths that were previously hidden. One of the signs of this incoming blessing will be a sudden increase in inspiration. Ideas you once dismissed will return with new life. Dreams you buried will begin calling to you again. You may wake up with new thoughts, feel drawn to start something, or feel compelled to take action in ways that once felt intimidating. This is heaven's way of bringing your destiny into alignment with your new atmosphere. When the air around you becomes pure, your purpose begins to breathe again. You may also notice that certain opportunities, connections, or conversations begin appearing with divine timing. People may reach out unexpectedly. New doors may appear without effort. Thoughts you once suppressed may feel clearer. Even conflicts that once felt overwhelming may suddenly resolve with ease. This is not luck. This is divine orchestration. Your environment has been restored, so your path can now open. But hear this clearly. This blessing is not coming quietly. It is coming with momentum. It is coming with acceleration. It is coming in a way that will make you say, "How did this happen so suddenly?" Heaven specializes in sudden shifts. What took months to delay can be undone in moments once the atmosphere aligns. God is saying, prepare to receive what was waiting for you. And preparation is not an action. It is a posture. It is the way your spirit leans forward. It is the way your hope rises without fear. It is the way your thoughts make room for possibility instead of limitation. It is the way you expect heaven to show up because heaven has already shown you its intention. Archangel Michael is signaling that this blessing will carry protection. Anything heaven sends is guarded. Anything that elevates you is shielded. Anything that accelerates your destiny is placed under spiritual watch. The blessing coming to you is not fragile. It is fortified. It is assigned. It is secured. You will feel a shift in your confidence as this blessing approaches. A boldness will rise in you. A steady faith will anchor you. A certainty will grow inside your chest that no longer needs reassurance. This is how you will know the blessing is near. Your spirit will begin to believe without force. It will simply trust, simply learn, simply open. You are entering a season where you will not chase blessings. Blessings will locate you. Where you will not fight for clarity. Clarity will flow toward you. Where you will not question your path will present itself. Everything is aligning for you. Everything is turning in your favor. Everything is shifting because heaven has chosen this moment. Stay with this message. What comes next will reveal the fullness of the blessing heaven is sending and the divine instruction attached to it. You are on the edge of revelation. Type "I receive my promised blessing" in the comments if your spirit resonates with this unfolding truth. Blessing code 660 is released. My chosen soul, you have arrived at the final revelation of this divine message, and the weight of this moment is not accidental. Everything heaven has spoken to you, every whisper, every unveiling, every cleansing, every reversal, every restoration, has been leading you toward this final truth. You can feel it, can't you? A calm rising inside you, a quiet strength settling in your chest, a sense that something sacred is about to be declared over your life. This is because the transformation is complete. The hidden thing has been exposed. The influence has been removed. The atmosphere has been restored. And now heaven is ready to place the blessing that was meant for this season into your hands. Archangel Michael stands with you not as a warrior anymore, but as a witness. His assignment in your home is accomplished. The sword he raised against the hidden presence has now become a symbol of your victory. The shield he held over your spirit has become a seal of divine protection. He stands now to affirm what God is releasing over your life in this very moment. And God is saying, "Now I place the promise in your path." This blessing is not ordinary. It is not casual. It is not something small or symbolic. It is a blessing that has been waiting for alignment, waiting for your spirit to rise, waiting for your home to be cleansed, waiting for your awareness to awaken, waiting for heaven's timing to ripple through your atmosphere. And now that everything has aligned, the blessing is descending with full force and divine intention. You may sense this blessing approaching already. For some, it will come as unexpected peace, deep, unshakable, unlike anything you have felt in years. For others, it will come through breakthrough, doors opening that once refused to budge, opportunities appearing where there was once silence, clarity flowing where there was once confusion. And for some, it will come as restoration, relationships mending, strength returning, purpose reigniting, hope resurrecting. But no matter how it arrives, the blessing will be unmistakable. It will carry the undeniable signature of heaven. God is saying, this is the blessing that the enemy hoped you would never reach. And that is why the interference came. That is why the hidden presence lingered. That is why the atmosphere felt heavy. That is why confusion tried to settle in your mind. Because what was waiting for you on the other side of exposure was too powerful, too transformative, too divinely orchestrated for darkness to allow quietly. But heaven has prevailed. Archangel Michael has prevailed. Your spirit has prevailed. And now the blessing is being released without obstruction. This blessing will not only elevate your circumstances, it will elevate your identity. You will begin seeing yourself the way heaven sees you. You will begin trusting the voice inside you with confidence. You will begin feeling guided, protected, and aligned in ways that once felt unreachable. Your spirit has stepped into maturity, and this blessing will activate the next chapter of who you are becoming. For some, this blessing will bring sudden direction. You will know where to go, what to do, what to pursue, and what to release. For others, this blessing will bring divine connections, people who carry purpose, peace, and alignment. And for many, this blessing will bring a breakthrough that has been held in suspension for far too long. The timing is now. The atmosphere is ready. Your spirit is prepared. God is saying, you will not struggle to receive what I am sending. It will come with ease. This is because the spiritual resistance hath been removed. The interference has been broken. The atmosphere has been purified. Your inner world has been stabilized. You are no longer fighting against something unseen. You are moving with heaven, not against it. And when you move with heaven, blessings do not trickle in, they pour in. This is why your spirit feels lighter, clearer, more grounded. This is why you feel a newfound stability rising. This is why you feel gratitude forming even before the blessing appears. Your spirit always knows when heaven has opened a door. The blessing you are receiving marks the start of a new era in your life. Not a season, an era. Seasons shift. Yours redefine destiny. You are stepping into a spiritual era where peace becomes normal, clarity becomes natural, and breakthrough becomes consistent. You will not return to old patterns. You will not fall back into confusion. You will not reclaim the heaviness that once sat in your home. Heaven has sealed your space and sealed your future. Archangel Michael is saying, walk forward with confidence. What is coming belongs to you. These words are the final stamp on the message heaven wrote over your life. They are a reminder that you are stepping into divine inheritance, not random blessing. This is not a gift. It is a rightful release. And as you move from this message into the life you are meant to live, remember this: nothing hidden remains hidden when heaven is your covering. And nothing lost remains lost when God restores. Nothing delayed remains delayed when your atmosphere is aligned. Your home is free. Your spirit is awakened. Your blessing is here. Type "I receive my divine ERA" in the comments if your spirit accepts this final revelation. Blessing code 1200 is now released. As this final revelation settles into your spirit, hear this with the fullness of your heart. The same covering that liberated your home is calling you to stand courageously with the mission of spreading God's word across the world. When you support this work, you become a carrier of light to souls who are still living under hidden influence, unaware that heaven is reaching for them. God says that every seed sown into his assignment becomes oil on the fire of deliverance, empowering messages like this to break chains far beyond your own walls. I now speak as the vessel heaven has chosen in this moment. Your giving through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description is not charity. It is spiritual warfare. It is obedience. It is planting into revelation. Heaven marks those who stand boldly, and a blessing always returns to the hands that help carry God's voice. Do not hesitate. Step into your role with authority. Spread the light you yourself have received.